quilting friends, it's Carolina Moore, your favorite sewing and quilting YouTuber, and today we're doing block 8 of the 9 patch block of the month. That's our 2024 calendar block of the month. It is a calendar that is also a pattern that also has all the fun holidays that quilters should celebrate right there on the calendar. And we're making a quilt, because what's a quilty calendar without quilt blocks and quilt block instructions and a whole quilt pattern right in there, right? Friends, if you aren't joined in yet, go down to the description, get the link, get the calendar. This is so much fun. I know that we are almost 2/3 of the way through the year. There's still time to catch up. These blocks are pretty easy to make, and I would love it if you joined us in making this quilt this year. Friends, if you are just watching the video or you're sewing along, let's get started. So I have all my pieces cut. If you need the cutting instructions, those are going to be on the calendar. And again, the calendar can be bought on my site. The link is down in the description. Leave a comment if you can't find it, and I'll be happy to get that to you. We are going to start by sewing our square and a square blocks. So we've done this before. We did it on this block here, and yep, that's actually the only time we've done square and a square block so far. So all the way on month 1 we did square and a square. We're going to do it again. I'm going to go ahead and make these all real quick because it's super simple. We are just going to sew a square on either side. I have diagonal seam tape on my machine, which means that I do not need to draw lines on these. If you don't have diagonal seam tape, then you do need to draw your lines. Once I've done 2 sides, I'm going to trim, press out, and then I'm going to add the other 2 sides. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to show you a quick trick for cutting a bunch of these at once. So I'm going to line this up top and bottom with a line on my mat, and then I'm going to line the bottom up here and then the top up with my mat. So theoretically this one would be lined up with my mat if I could see my mat. Same again, bottom mat, bottom mat. Now these should be all straight, and I can just line up my ruler and cut 4 at once. Now I should be able to just spin my mat and cut the other side. They're not quite lined up, but that's okay. It's close. There we go. And now I can press these. Once we have them pressed, we're going to go ahead and stitch on the other 2 sides. So now we have our square and a square blocks done, and we're going to make our flying geese. Flying geese are basically half of this unit. So it's a rectangle. We're going to put a square on one side, stitch on the diagonal, cut, flip over, and then do the same on the other side. So we basically get half of this square and a square. These are all going to get a trim. So I can cut these individually, or I can do the same thing that I did before, where I line these up. Let me make some space on my cutting mat here. Line up the bottom, line up the top. You don't want them too on top of one another, because then your layers of fabric will be too thick, and then you're likely to get shifting where your pieces move and you don't get a good accurate 1/4 inch seam. It doesn't need to be a perfect 1/4 inch seam, but we want to be pretty close. Now these can all get pressed towards the background. Now we're going to sew the other square onto the other side of the flying geese unit. We can line these up to cut them. These will also get pressed towards the background. These will get stitched into pairs. And when you stitch them into pairs, it's nice to have this side up so you can try to hit the needle right there and get a nice good point. These all need to be pressed, and they're all going to get pressed towards the pointing up triangle. Now we have all our units and we can lay out our block. This is our center. These go all the way around. And we have our square and a square in the corners. Like that. So we're going to stitch these into pairs, add the third onto the pairs, and then we're going to press. When we press, we're actually going to press out, press in, press out, and then stitch our rows together. So let's go ahead and do all those things. We have our rows, we're pressing out, in, out. And now we're going to press these seams in. Right, I don't know if you can see what I did, but the arrows go this way, this way, this way, and then this row was put on upside down. So I have to rip this seam out real quick, and I'm actually going to press it, try to make that flat again before I rip that seam. There we go. We're going to try this again that direction. Sew these together. All right, before I press, did I do it right? I did. There we go. That's correct. All done. That's it for our August block. It is all done. We're going to go ahead and add it to the wall. Aren't these looking so fun? We've added it to the wall. It's all coming together. That's 2/3 of the way through this quilt. Friends, make sure you give this video a thumbs up so you see more videos like this. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and make sure that you comment down below and let me know where you're at with making these blocks. I would love to know how it's going for you. Friends, that's it for today, but I have lots more videos coming your way, so I'll see you right here real soon. Bye for now.